Hey guys, I'm trying to do this one without the mic today. I'm gonna do a different video this time around. I want to talk about, just sprang into my head about relationships and as far as masculine, female, traditional gender roles. I haven't really gone into this. I plan on talking more about this kind of stuff, and I'm not sure what flies on YouTube, but I feel like it's all kind of subjective anyway, and whatever. I feel like whatever. This is stuff I want to talk about. But yeah, male, female energy, traditional gender roles. Is it healthy in the long term to change polarities or to, you know, have the woman lead? I would argue that it's definitely, or it can be, a lot more dangerous as far as having a healthy and like a long-term relationship that lasts if the person you met changes into somebody else, i.e. you change polarities or whatever. It can be a problem. I mean, that's why, again, communication's everything in relationships. Basically, asterisks communication. With enough communication, anything's possible. Genuine communication, right? Because just like anything, right? It's like when things are going good, it doesn't really matter. All the flaws in a person, all the character, none of this matters. It's when things go wrong and people have to make difficult decisions, and that's when things can go awry. So again, yeah, if you can't communicate genuinely, then you can't. Anyway, so yeah, male female gender roles. Is it? Comment below if you're still in this video and you're interested in this topic and you want to, I really want to start a dialogue on this one. And I do want to preface this with my perspective, my take on this is, and I've made this point in previous videos about what I believe is one of the worst things recently, in the recent past of conflating male female like identity versus temperament. I do subscribe to the fact that they're like, it seems like it's like crazy. I have to even preface this, but I believe in, and it's a beautiful thing. So even making this notion up, saying this notion is like, to me, is what is beautiful about human beings. Is that men and women are different at birth. Go figure. The biology, everything that's happening in a male versus female's brain from day one, from before day one. It's the way the way we are is different, and biologically, at a biological level. That's all I'm talking about right now. And having said that, that conflation about those ideas and conflation about the biological differences in men and women versus temperament differences, i.e. a man who's very neurotic and open and has a lot of traditionally female traits isn't isn't a woman. It's a man with different temperament that is, it is more typical in women. But again, that doesn't make his neuroticism the same as a woman's neuroticism. And then you take environment into account, then it's a whole nother, like, infinitely more complex and complex situation if we're just talking about how a certain person, the world reflects back to that individual. So having prefaced that, saying that, I live in a world where there's temperament and there's biology, and I don't play the game of men that are, I'm not ever going to be a woman. I'm never going to be a woman. It's impossible. So I'm not going to go into that camp. I don't subscribe to it. So having said that, is it healthy for a man to be led in a relationship in the long term? Again, the last thing I want to be and in this channel is to be like a close-minded, like, I find myself getting like quote unquote traditional gender role conservative-y with stuff. I'm purely making these videos to help people figure stuff out and to create a dialogue, and based off my own experiences, which I do know I'm talking about. I'm talking about these topics for a reason. I've lived it, and having said that, I don't want to be like, men have to be this, women have to be that. Like, there is a beauty to life that is that gray area and is that kind of like dance. Like, I feel like that is where you find the flow, the love, the like everything that's good about life is that dance of adventure, you know, with everything, and doing that with an open heart and honesty and exploration, and so, you know, having said that, that's kind of the purpose of this video is like, and I'm infinitely interested in like pathology, right? Like, as a concept, when does something become pathological? I would, you know, it's not, again, it's one of those things that's not a constant. It's not, at this point now you're bad. It's like, it starts to go into a direction of darkness. And so I'm very interested in, like, you know, prefacing it without being like, men lead, masculine, no emotion, go to work, woman cook, like, and I think that's just stupid when, like, I feel like people have that image in their head when someone's talking like that, more conservatively, they picture like a guy who just thinks 1950. Well, whether you do or not, a guy does or not, pictures that time when things were just like simple, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's never happening again. Like, it's not, even if everyone wanted to change things to being more like traditional gender roles, it's not going to happen. So it's not even worth, and it puts that person in a box. But anyway, so prefacing all that, I would say that, like, things have, like, at least in my circles and like my inner circle and my immediate outer circle and like whatever things, I think there has been, and maybe I'm just waking up to this, but, and this is the whole point I guess I'm trying to make, is the, like, victimizer. Like, to what degree is somebody with blinders who's being victimized and doesn't understand what they're doing is harmful? Like, I can tell you for sure, if it wasn't for a few people kind of going, what the, like, you know, and then enabling, right? Like, enablers are, oh my god, enablers, man, it's not good. So, like, for example, if you could, here's like a hypothetical, like, if you could argue that, like, people that are, I guess I'm going on off a topic here, but if people that are, you know, acting out in certain behaviors because of trauma, you know, life is trauma, so it's hard to, like, narrow that down, but, like, if it is for, like, you know, like a reenacting of trauma from childhood, like, is that ever a good idea? Like, are you playing with fire ultimately? And I used to think that, like, and I still do, I think there's, like, something to, like, and I'm getting off topic into, like, you know, kink or whatever, and, like, you know, BDSM and kink, and, but there's, like, a constant of, like, just, you know, people that have had really messed up things happen to them are going into this, and it's like, where's the line between, like, and there isn't a line. I was gonna say, where's the line between, like, abuse and therapy, you know, and fulfillment, therapy, adventure, you know? It's like, obviously it just comes down to communication and people that care about you. I think that's, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so, yeah, Post Malone down below if you think it's ever healthy in the long term for, like, and we'll just talk about the extremes, like a man that is led by a woman. It's like, I don't know about that. I think, like, here's the thing. And this is what it comes down to for me. This is like a real like toughie, and this is probably gonna be very like controversial to say. This stuff is just going in my head, but like, here's the thing: if we were never to have children, what's the problem with anything, right? You know, and to what degree is two people being involved together, man and woman being, you know, involved together sexually and everything, like what, at what point, like if it's just selfish and no one wants to have kids, like to the degree that a couple that just wants nothing to do with kids, like I've always made this argument, like that's like the sexiest thing and the best relationships are when two people are so in love, they're like, I just need you, I need another version of you. And like, to me, I just don't, whatever you do in the bedroom, like nothing will ever beat that. And that's the corollary to this stuff, is like, yeah, okay, switch gender roles, but then like how unnecessary is it for like a man, like how do children, and this is, again, I'm not making statements here, I'm purely creating a dialogue, and as a man, I don't know how children relate to their parents so well, if, you know, like, and this is what gets crazy with like kids and the hormone blockers, all this stuff. It's just like, to what degree are we creating pathology within our own society, i.e., let's say a man and a woman that are polarized. The man is a, you know, he's the housewife and the woman goes to work, and it's like, and that's fine, but it's like, how does that manifest? Like, let's say it's even like, I don't know, like, I don't know how healthy it is if it like how kids relate to their parents, like naturally, you know, like obviously what one party does, like that's not a big deal, but like how do kids, when kids see certain things growing up, and like we change, you know, this traditional, I'll probably have to end the video here, it's probably good, I gotta get out of here, but like, I don't know, like, for example, like the fact that people just aren't having kids nowadays, things change in society, like women, that there's an example, women are kind of leading now, they have this, you know, that's maybe the best example, is like now kids just aren't being made because hypergamy, because there's a billion factors, but society has changed in a way that is not, you know, the way we've had it for so long. It's affecting actual like birth rates, so, you know, things affect things. And then I think it all ultimately comes down to religion, people that are religious, people that aren't, and then it's just like, and that's when it gets completely, I don't know, the more time goes on, the more things are effed up, the more I go, like, I lean into religion. I think that is why it's here. It's like when things go awry, it's like it is that constant. It's when religion exists, for when, you know, values and morals aren't based off of anything. Like they're based off of whatever you feel like doing, and it's like, if that's the case, then everything is chaos. Like, I don't think human beings can, and that's another way to prove God's existence. If for the sake of argument, I gotta go after this comment, but if for the sake of argument, if ultimately humankind will always divulge into degeneracy without religion, then doesn't that prove religion's, if not the evidence of God, at least the evidence of religion's, like, why it's here in a way that's like as natural as, you know, us breathing air or us sleeping. Religion, you know, as a roadmap to our lives as our you know, our guide to a fulfilling and good life, which I think everyone would agree, unless they want to watch the world burn, which those people do exist. Believe me, they do exist. There's people out there that want to watch the world burn. Not usually very religious, by the way. Then doesn't it prove, like, this is one of the most tangential videos ever done, but whatever. We started on that topic. I get way too philosophical, I guess, but that's just where my brain went, and I wanted to stay more on topic at hand with, like, relationships and polarities, but you know, and just things like, you know, a woman respecting a man. Like, I feel like you're on a slippery slope to be disrespected, you know, and disrespect. Sorry, ladies, you don't want to hear this, but you know I am telling the truth when I say that disrespect from a woman is, the implications of being disrespected by a woman are infinitely different than a man disrespecting a woman. A woman disrespecting a man is, the implications are just so different than a man disrespecting a woman. And it doesn't matter what it's about, just because we don't think the same. Women test and men endure. We love enduring. We're masochists, us men. We want to be the hero. A healthy man wants to be the hero of his own story and his family's story. That is a man, in my opinion, and that's a hill I will die on. Having said that, what do you guys think? Polarities, is it worth it? Is it better just to go to work and not try and complicate our lives with craziness? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. This video was kind of ridiculous. This is a ridiculous video, but I'll post it, whatever. Have a good one, guys. Stay tuned, I guess.